Welcome to the ATP Project. You're with your host, Steve and Jeff. Steve, today we're going to be talking about Artemisia, which is also known as Chinese wormwood.
Yep.
Steve, what is it?
Well, it's a plant that's been used since the 10th century in China for all sorts of things, mainly around infections.
Right.
And we probably know of the most famous infection in the world that's not so big in Australia. So this infection called malaria, and it kills heaps of people around the world, hundreds of thousands of people around the world. Okay, and it's an incredible blood-borne infection of the red blood cells.
Right.
So it causes immense fatigue, fever, and death.
Yeah.
Okay. Now there's absolutely no good treatment for it except one, and that is Artemisia Annua.
Oh. What's in tonic water that they use? Quinine.
Quinine, yeah.
What does that do?
Quinine works as an anti-parasitic agent too.
Okay.
And what you can do is you can quinine was used for bark from cinchona tree.
Right.
And it's a very good one for treating parasitic infections.
Yep.
So it's a good one too. And then you can hydroxylate it, and there's a drug around called hydroxyquinine. And hydroxychloroquine.
Yeah.
There's those sort of drugs.
Oh, yeah.
And you might have heard that one.
World famous, thanks to Joe Rogan.
Now,
yeah.
Yep. So but that's been around for 70, 80 years too.
Yep. Yep.
So what we know is that these plant-based things that really kill bugs in a special way without affecting the body.
But at the top of the pops is
Artemisia Annua.
Wow. Where is it native to, Steve?
Well, it's native too. I've got the.
Chinese wormwood kind of makes it sounds like it's from China, is it?
Yeah, it is. The plant is grown in Asia, India, Central and Eastern Europe, and in the temperate regions of Africa, Australia, America, and some tropical regions.
Is there much difference between the different? Is it the same species?
It's the same species. Artemisia Annua is the one.
So it's found here in Australia.
Yeah, there is another species of Artemisia called Apacia, but that's a different one.
Does it do anything?
Not as much as Artemisia Annua does.
Okay.
Artemisia Annua is also known as Qing Ho.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and that's Chinese name, and it was described in the Song Dynasty, which was the 10th century.
So. It's good for malaria, Steve.
Really good for malaria.
But what does it do in the body, and what else is it good for? Because obviously we don't get a lot of malaria in Australia.
Yeah. Really, in Australia, what we use it for is reducing cholesterol. That's one of its main claim to fame.
Really?
Yeah, anti-hyperlipidemic. It's
both forms of cholesterol or just the bad one?
Just the bad one.
Okay.
The stuff that's made from the liver. The bad one is the one that's made from the liver, and that's where herbs tend to work, and natural ingredients, and synthetic drugs too. It's also anticonvulsant, so it's very good for the brain as well.
Okay.
Yeah. It's also an anti-inflammatory, which is interesting because if you boost the immune system, then you get inflammation.
Wow.
But this is anti-inflammatory because it doesn't boost the immune system per se. It attacks viruses and bacteria and plasmodial diseases like malaria.
Wow.
So it's a bit of a killer. It's like if you take Echinacea peppery or Echinacea angustifolia.
Sure. Yeah. Which you only do when you're not well too,
correct,
by the way.
Because that boosts the immune system and that goes ahead and kills whatever. This one goes out and directly kills the bugs.
Yeah.
So really different.
So Echinacea works with the immune system that then kills the bugs, whereas this works independent.
Yeah.
So even if you've got a poor immune system, if you're elderly, infirm, AIDS, if you're immunocompromised.
Yep.
What about for people with lupus and other things like that? Because sometimes they might be concerned about boosting their immune system. Correct?
Yeah, well, this doesn't boost the immune system. It has antiviral and anti-cholesterol, antimicrobial properties, as well as anti-inflammatory. So it'd be good for lupus, SLE.
Definitely a very powerful compound. Steve.
Lovely herb. And you take gram doses of this. And what we know about it is, firstly, it's quite safe for humans because we've consumed it for 10 centuries.
Yeah.
So it's quite a good herb to take that's got a long safety profile. And even when you test it in people, and we'll get to studies in a sec, where they've given it to people with certain infections, and I've picked a wide range of infections here. Obviously, one of them, of course, is malaria, but I've got some other ones here, some viruses, very popular viruses. You might have heard of these viruses too.
Yeah?
It kills those viruses as well.
Wow.
So it's got some a great reputation. Of course, it reduces cholesterol and all that sort of stuff. So it's good for any sort of lifestyle diseases. It is also anti-carcinogenic.
Oof.
I mean, so it doesn't, it actually reduces cancer.
Wow.
Which is absolutely amazing. There's a great paper on it where they treated, and this was in Phytomedicine, and the title of the paper is beautiful. It says, Anti-Tumor Activity Artemisia Annua Herbal Preparation and the Identification of Active Species. So they found that the Artemisian in Artemisia, which is one of the active components, is the potent anti-cancer activity against the worst type of breast cancer they could find.
Wow.
Triple negative human breast cancer.
Wow.
So that is incredible.
Does it have a prophylactic, Steve, or does it just work if you've got it?
I would say it does have a prophylactic because, firstly, these cells just, you develop these cells without knowing it. So it'll kill that. But also it's anti-inflammatory and it's antiviruses, and viruses can trigger certain cancers.
So with echinacea, for example, and Steve, you're the expert here, but I've heard that you should only recommend it when you have a flu, a cold, whereas with this, you could take it all the time.
You can take it all the time. People have taken it for long periods of time without any problems. And we know from all the studies and traditional, I like the traditional uses because people just drink it as a tea.
Yeah.
Because it tastes good.
Does it?
Yeah, well, some people think so. I don't think tea tastes any good.
If it tastes anything like that, Steve, I've got a business plan for you. Right?
Well,
make a bit of...
That's a good one. But people drink infusions of this stuff, 4 to 9 grams. So, and you got to remember, people drink all sorts of weird stuff. And even if you believe this is good for you, which it is, then people drink it because it's good for you too. It's like, you got to take your medicine sort of thing.
Yeah.
But no, the people report traditionally that they drink it as a tea. So it can't be that bad. No. I've never tried it as a tea. No. So there we go, something to do.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to try it as a tea, it's good to take while you're sick.
Yes.
Particularly if you've got certain viruses. And there's lots of studies on viruses.
Well, let's talk about these certain viruses.
All right. Well, you want me to name them by name?
Yes, name them by name.
I'll read the title of this paper. It's a review paper in the Journal of Integrative Medicine, 2021. It says, obviously it's fairly recent,
sure.
An overview of the anti-SARS-CoV-2 properties of Artemisia Annua and its antiviral action, protein-associated mechanisms, and repurposing for a COVID-19 treatment.
Wow. Okay. And how significant?
Brilliantly.
Right.
Even for people that weren't responding to drugs, it helped them.
Wow.
So that's good. And that's gonna be a bit of a theme when we get back to the malaria later on.
Okay.
So this is a great herbal preparation as an antiviral. Now, there are loads of studies on COVID. Now, I'll just show them to the first page of them.
Okay.
So there's
probably 10 there.
10 that page, you know what I mean? So, and it goes on to the next page.
Okay.
And the page after that.
Yep.
So
probably something like 12 studies, maybe more.
Loads of studies. And the mechanism of action is that it just simply blocks the virus from entering the cells.
Wow.
So pretty cool little mechanism of action for that one too. And it also, in this particular review paper...
If it's not in the cell, it can't replicate.
Exactly.
So effectively, with viruses, that they're like look for a host to take over.
They do.
And then hijack its body,
DNA,
if you like, it's machinery to then make more of itself. It's kind of like a dastardly, evil little mastermind jumping inside a fax machine and going, right, I'm going to copy myself. But if it can't get inside the fax machine, the cell, then it just sort of stays out there. And then what happens is the phagocytes come and clean it up?
Yeah, because it doesn't get in there. So there's many different surface proteins like S protein, E protein, and then you've got nucleus proteins called N proteins. So you've got to block at one of those areas. This thing blocks it at the S protein, the N protein, and the E protein. So it just blocks the inhibition in all the cells. It's an overachiever. It's a real overachiever.
Yeah.
But you can see all the different proteins it blocks. There's about 10 of them, including those ones. So it's great. But also it has other mechanisms of action they found, and you're going to love this one. It's antiviral, anti-inflammatory, immunomodulatory. So if you're getting a cytokine too high, it drops cytokines down. Yeah,
because the cytokine storm, Steve, do you want to just so what happens there?
A cytokine storm is when you get a runaway infection that's not being killed and the body just tries too hard to kill it. Right. And you get too much interleukin-6 is the main offender.
You feel terrible.
You feel awful and you can die.
Yeah.
Cytokine storms kill people.
Yeah.
And so what they give is a very powerful drug called toxizumab, which is a drug that knocks out interleukin-6. Zumumab means antibody treating it.
Gosh, you've got to be careful with that.
Oh, yeah.
Because you knock out, go the other way.
Well, the biologics, the ones that knock out these cytokines, and there's ones for different cytokines and everything and different chemicals in the body.
Sure.
In our podcast last week, we talked about knocking out calcitonin-generated peptide. You don't want to knock out that unless you've got high levels of that.
Yep.
Because every chemical in the body is useful.
That's right. It's a balance.
It's a balancing act. So this one is antioxidant as well. Malaria. Right. So this is really good. Artemisians. It's anti-mucus as well. So it clears up mucus.
Wow.
It's anti-pulmonary fibrosis. So that stops scarring of the lungs. But the best thing it does...
Which is what they said has happened a lot recently.
Exactly. But the best things they said in this paper is it's antipyretic, which means it reduces fevers.
Wow.
And it probably reduces fevers by killing the bugs. So look at its resume in the middle there. There its mechanisms of actions.
Probably, again, Steve, we'd put this up there with, dare I say it, maybe one of the wonder herbs.
Yeah, it is a wonder herb, really is a wonder herb, but it gets better than that because it also reduces...
But wait, there's more.
There's more. It also reduces toll-like receptors, which is where you get the receptors that cause the so it stops transmission or reduces the transmission of viruses.
Wow. This is pretty powerful stuff.
Oh, this is published in this paper, the Journal of Integrative Medicine.
Was it peer-reviewed?
Yes, absolutely. These are all peer-reviewed papers.
Okay.
So, if you want to... But it also reduces interleukin-1, interleukin-6 and interleukin-8, and they're the very pro-inflammatory things that cause that cytokine storm.
Steve, you don't really need to say much more, but what else is there?
Oh, that's just one virus. There's another paper here, and it's titled, you're going to love this one, The Antiviral Immunomodulation Effects of Artemisia. It does all the viruses for you.
Wow.
Yep. And if the resume here is incredible. But what I love about...
How is this stuff not banned? I always think when they're this good, it's like...
Bit of a worry.
It's too good. This is too powerful. This has to go.
I'll run through some of the effects, and it goes on forever here. Yep. This is the in vitro and in vivo studies. Yep. This is a peer-reviewed paper in Medicinia, which is a great paper, 2021. Yep. And it's got first claim to fame, anti-carcinogenic activity. That's the first heading.
Yep.
Second one, antioxidant activity. So it's a great antioxidant.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that benefit was really powerful because this is what... I had seen it being recommended as a very, very good daily antioxidant to mop up free radicals.
Really good one to take every day.
Yeah.
It's antibacterial and antiparasitic as well.
Antiparasitic?
Yep. 0.4, we mentioned this before, but it's antifibrotic, so we won't talk about that again.
Yep.
But it also has a role in reducing, you don't have this one, Alzheimer's and neurodegeneration.
I'm expecting people to bash through the doors.
No, it's the role in neurodegeneration. It helps clear the beta amyloid plaques in the brain. Amazing, eh?
That is amazing.
Yeah. So incredible stuff. So really important stuff. It's anti-inflammatory as well. That's 0.6.
Yep. I think we said that.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
I've gone through that again. A couple of different papers there. Antiviral, we've talked about that till the cows come home.
Yep.
But the conclusions are just like, wow, you've got to take this stuff. That's what the paper basically says. They don't say it like that, but they just say it's good for this, that, this. Good as a preventative, good to take while you've got it, and get it into you if you're sick. This is what I don't like about Artemisia. I don't like about it, but what I don't like about the whole thing around Artemisia is people know echinacea.
Sure.
For colds and flus.
Yeah.
People don't know Artemisia.
No.
And you need good doses of this stuff. So you go high dose on that. Wow. So that's its antiviral thing. And yet, as I said before, the main claim to fame is its traditional use for malaria. Now, malaria kills loads of people, hundreds of thousands of people. This is the better. They compared a study where they compared the antibiotics that they give and compared it, or the antiparasitics, with Artemisia Annua, and Artemisia Annua was superior.
Do you know where it's not superior?
Where?
Doesn't make drug companies as much money.
No, it's a natural agent.
You can't patent that, Steve.
Yeah.
That's what do we say? Disinformation, Steve-o.
Oh, well, disinformation.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we're going to have to lock you up for saying that.
Well,
now.
This is in Plant Medica 2021.
No, Steve, sorry.
I've actually, the table 3 here lists all its properties, and it goes on forever again.
I love it because you know why? Because it's natural. And like everything as well too. I mean, obviously you've got to use them in the right bandwidth.
Yep.
But is there an oral toxicity? Do we know, Steve?
No, you can take gram doses of this up to they traditionally take 9 grams a day.
Wow.
So
and what is recommended for sort of? I mean, not an acute, but maybe like an ongoing maintenance dose. What would you recommend? Sort of
1 or 2 grams a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. That's all you need.
And for an acute dose, you could go up
9 grams a day easily. Obviously.
Wow.
Yeah, no, you can go higher. I'll give you this table, but I'll skip the bits that we've talked about with the viruses because otherwise we'll be here forever.
Yeah.
Anti-malarial. But the way I like about anti-malarial is there are 6 different mechanisms of actions of how it kills malaria.
Wow.
So it doesn't just go in there and kill it. But the most famous way is that inside parasitic cells and inside red blood cells, you've got
oxygen.
You've got iron, right?
Yeah.
And iron is in the form of 2+ or 3+.
Yeah.
This turns it into an iron 4+ molecule in the parasite, which causes free radicals, which kills the parasite.
Which starves it, right? It starves it with oxygen.
Yeah, well, it causes free radical damage, kills it, no oxygenation, no electron transfer chain, but it's not toxic for normal cells. You love that?
I'm going to call it a smart.
That was discovered
smart
in the
nature.
Absolutely.
When was it discovered?
Well, that mechanism was discovered in 93. So
93?
We've known about it for ages. Isn't that incredible? It stops all the interference and all something, but we'll get to some other things. There's other anti-protozoan activity, which, of course, is other protozoans, so other bad bugs.
Yeah.
It's also antifungal, so it kills funguses as well in the body.
Really?
Yep.
Can you use it topically?
Yes, you can. It's very good. I know we talked about that.
Yeah.
It's another good one.
My son,
Oh, you were going to say it? Okay.
Yeah. He went camping and mate, when you're in the showers, make sure you wear your thongs, right?
Yep.
And for our American friends, that's not a G-banger.
Oh, that's what they think.
Wearing something on your feet.
Yeah.
Wear your Crocs. Do they have Crocs in the States? I don't know. Do they? I don't know. Wear some rubber slippers, if you like, in the shower. And the last day, of course, he didn't. Oh. And then he's picked up this fungus on his feet. So I rang Steve last night and went, Steve-o, what do you recommend? So it's tea tree oil.
Tea tree oil was a classic
maybe I might actually turn this and maybe make a warm sort of solution out of it.
I know, amazing. Now, what if you've got an autoimmune disease? It is actually immunosuppressive.
Well, that's what I was saying, because if you've got an autoimmune, everything else ramps up your immune system.
Yep.
Taking Artemisia, if you've got lupus or something like that, could actually be a really good way to enhance your ability to deal with, bugs, viruses, but also look after your inflammation as well.
Exactly.
Too.
Reduce inflammation. And if your inflammation is triggered by a bug, it'll kill the bug.
Yeah.
Parasites, bacteria.
So it's a win-win.
Win-win situation.
Yeah.
Anti-inflammatory. But also what they found was there's a chemical in it called 1,8-cineol.
Okay, cool.
And that is a great chemical to reduce pain. So this reduces pain as well.
I love it.
Yep.
So you're sitting there, you've got some kind of virus, your immune system shot, or maybe where it's not needed.
Yep.
You take this.
Yep.
You're going to give yourself the tools to be able to take on the bug.
Yep.
You're going to reduce any inflammation.
Yep.
And you're going to feel better while doing it. Is that because it's not interacting with the interleukin-6 and other things that are...
It's anti-inflammatory, interleukin-6, to reduce the inflammation so you get the pain.
Love it.
But it gets better.
Oh,
let's say...
But wait.
Do you like rats or not?
Do I like rats?
Yeah.
Actually, I do.
Oh, do you?
Like pet rats?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually do, Steve.
All right, well, if you want to give the rat some kidney damage...
No, I don't want to give the rats some kidney... I mean, if you're talking about feral...
Yeah,
okay,
feral rats.
Fine, yeah.
Like you can give them carbon tetrachloride, which is an organic chlorine molecule, which destroys their kidney. But if you didn't really like them, you could give them carbon tetrachlorides as well, which is which is like chloroform.
Right.
Carbon, that's trichloride.
Is that the stuff that knocks you out?
Yeah. But if you want to kill them, give them carbon tetrachloride, which kills them by destroying their kidneys. But if they happen to be snacking on some Artemisia Annua, it protects their kidneys from damage from carbon tetrachloride. So it's very, very good for your kidneys, this herb as well. But if you want to protect the rats, give them, it's very, very good for your kidneys too. But also the polyphenols in Artemisia Annua is very, very good to stop cancer. Yeah. What they did was they gave...
What are the polyphenols called?
They don't say in this particular paper, so that's very interesting.
That is interesting.
So it also causes regression of prostatic cancer, so good. It kills prostatic cancer. It inhibits human osteosarcoma, so that's bone cancer. So very, very good. Yeah, and very good against breast cancer as well. Do you want to know what I think probably what people mostly take Artemisia for? It's none of those things. You're not going to believe this.
Hang on. I don't know, UTIs or something?
No, it's anti-obesity. Yeah, it increases PPAR gamma. Yeah.
No way.
Yep, it's reduction of fat droplet accumulation, which is a way to test for obesity.
How much did it have an effect on for fat loss?
43. So I'll just go back to that reference. Let's see. I think it was like 3 grams a day. My memory serves me.
That's not how much you lose in weight. That's how much you should take.
That's how much you take a day, yeah.
Going to say that's not very much weight loss.
And it's the oils in it too. So there you go.
Wow.
It reduces fat loss and it kills worms too. And what they did was they gave worms to sheep and then they gave them Artemisia and it killed the worms in the sheep.
Ah.
So,
my son suffered from some worms a while ago.
There you go. The fungus kid as well, or the worm kid? Yeah,
no, this is another kid. No. I got my fungus kid, and then I got my worm kid. So we've got a great family.
So is that a pretty impressive?
Why don't you come over for dinner, Steve?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Fungus and worms.
So isn't that cool for Artemisia? I mean, what?
Look, Steve. What
doesn't it?
I kind of put it up there with some of the other podcasts that we've done, where I know I really like something, but I know probably maybe 20% of what it actually does. Again, I'm putting it up there with Jeff's golden seal of approval.
Yeah. Well, golden seal is a good herb for infections too.
It is. But I'm going to put it up there on my top tier shelf.
Well, it is because...
Up there with turmeric.
Okay, let's say...
Up there with pomegranate.
Yep. Well, you got a bug, you take the... I mean, when should you really take this stuff? You can take it for anti-obesity, that's fine. And all these
antioxidant. I take it every day.
Exactly. You can take it every day because it kills bugs. It's immunomodulatory, so it helps modulate the immune system. If you've got an autoimmune disease, it's fine. If you've got a bug, it'll kill a bug. It's great for malaria. We all know that. But it's just a great thing.
Malaria is not something we ever suffer from here in Australia, do we? No. But India and specifically Africa, obviously.
Yep.
Where else? South America, would you?
Yeah, South America, you get it. Is
Artemisia found in South America?
Yes, it is.
It's funny, isn't it? Is it found in Africa?
Yeah. And Asian countries too.
And this is again the whole thing of that the cure is with the diseases.
Yeah. So Artemisia is like, all right, it's great for COVID, and that's why I got 3 papers on it. I don't know why I got 3. But it's very good for any sorts of even the hot. And this paper in the Journal of Pharmacology in 2022, it says hot water extracts show potent activity against COVID variants, including Delta, so the worst one. So that's the title of the paper. So even if you have a tea, it'll work.
Bloody hell!
So if you want a tea and get some lemon and honey in it as well, people talk about lemon teas and that stuff. That Artemisia tea.
And you're saying it doesn't taste bad?
Not too bad. People drink it. I mean, I don't like any tea. I didn't like green tea. Any colour tea, black tea, can't stand them. But if I was sick, this would be really good. So, yeah.
Well, there you go, people.
It's so good.
Artemisia,
get into it.
Annua. So that is the herb of the day. So I mean, again, mate, always learning something, Steve. That was great.
Oh, I learned something from this.
And look, we'll be back with our some more herbs and exciting things coming up, as well as our regular podcast as well too. So we'll be back with some more soon.